Greetings. What's up, everybody?
Good evening. How y'all doing today? How are y'all doing? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for tuning in to Ourbondlive.
Yes, we are here when?
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
And we want to thank each and every one of you for coming and being a part of this special show today.
Yes, and we discuss hot trending topics.
Yes, we do.
And we relate them to just life in general. Marriage, family, parenting,
dating,
relationships,
whatever it is.
dating, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we like to give a positive spin on it, and hopefully you learn something in the process.
Yeah.
So those of you all that do not know us, we are the Hardmans.
We're the Hardmans.
And we try to harmonize everything that we discuss. We've been married for 15 plus years, have four beautiful girls. And just love marriage.
Yeah.
Love to see people win.
Yeah. And every week we always try to do something creative. So we wear t-shirts.
Different t-shirts.
That speak on different topics. It might be something funny. But today we are equally yoked.
Because what is today's topic? It is
married or separated.
But it says married but separate.
Okay, yeah, same.
Married but separate. That's the official title.
Yeah, the same thing. Same thing.
And if we all know, I'm getting over some sinus issues.
Yeah,
so I am
my baby been sick.
I'm really trying to pull it together today. Yeah. So if I don't, normally my smile is like huge, but I'm kind of like hurting a little bit over here. so I'm like hurting a little bit right here.
Yeah. So y'all pray for my baby. Y'all
please pray for me. Please pray for me. Yeah. Okay, so we got a lot to discuss tonight, and you ready to jump in?
Let's jump in.
So who are we talking about tonight?
We are talking about, is it Kanye and Kim?
Yes. So they're going to start it off, but you know how we do. We slice and dice it, and we kind of get off topic, and we do that so you can look in your inner selves.
Yeah.
And see how this relates to you.
Yeah.
So... There was recently something in the news, a hot topic that made a lot of headlines, of them not being in agreement with his spiritual walk in life.
Yeah.
Now, if we know a little bit of history behind this too, they've been married. They have almost 4 kids now, or they have the 4th one now. I don't know, but they've married. I think in I don't know. I'm telling y'all I'm sick. It's 2014, I think they married. 2014.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So he was known to us. He's 42. He was known to be a rapper. I remember him a long time ago. His first album, College Dropout. He was born in Atlanta, actually, but raised in Chicago.
Yeah.
And became a rapper, and now business owner.
Well, his first claim to fame was a producer, because he produced beats.
He produced
for
a lot of So
right.
He was a producer first, then he became a rapper, and now he owns a shoe line and other things. He recently he returned back to his spiritual roots.
We'll say supposedly,
that's what he says. Okay,
so we'll take him at face value for whatever
he says. So he's on a path of spiritual journey. Okay, and it appears that their spiritual journey is like this,
going 2 different directions.
Now, Kim K, we know her from, y'all remember that OJ case?
Yeah.
Her daddy was
Robert Kardashian.
Yes. So she's been in the spotlight for a while, and she has made a name for herself in the beauty and fashion world. Yeah. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so she is a brand herself and makes millions.
Yes, now she is a brand.
Yeah, now she's a brand. She makes millions with beauty products and just the name Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians.
And all the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit spill. We went really quick about their background. So now let's listen to the clip. We have a clip of them discussing his spiritual path, and then we'll delve into
some differences that they're taking with
and
how Go ahead.
Yeah, no, oh yeah. And the clip is only for about a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And they have a discussion about he's bearing his soul, about his spiritual path, and his disdain or dislike for her outward sexy appearance.
Yeah. So here we go. Tune in.
Now say that you're not into me wearing a tight dress.
You are my wife, and it affects me when pictures are too sexy.
On Sunday night's episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kanye surprisingly admits to having an issue with people gawking at his gorgeous wife.
Of course, it's like a formal underwear. It's hot. It's like, it's hot for who, though?
So, like, the night before the event, you're going to come in here and say that you're not into a corset bag.
I mean, we love each other's opinions.
Well, maybe not in this case, as Kim was not okay with the 42-year-old rapper's concerns over her choice in wardrobe for fashion's biggest night.
I just feel like I just went through this transition where from being a rapper, like looking at all these girls and looking at my wife, like, oh, my girl needs to be just like the other girls, showing her body off, showing this, showing that. And I didn't realize that that was affecting like my soul and my spirit as someone that's married and loved and the father of like now with about to be 4 kids.
Kim shut that down real quick.
You built me up to be this like sexy person and confidence and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And just because you're on a journey and you're on your transformation doesn't mean that I'm in the same spot with you.
Kim revealed.
All right.
Okay. They said a lot in that clip.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
You know what? This is my first time taking notes.
Okay.
I had to, let me tell you.
She's our investigative reporter.
No. Let me tell you what we do. We love to do this every Tuesday because we get to hear our different views and different opinions.
Yeah.
So we talk about the topic, the general topic, but we don't tell each other what our different views and beliefs are.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss.
Yeah,
I mean, we kind of know, but so I took some notes.
Yeah.
So, if you, I sliced and diced that video. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that whenever Kanye was pouring out his heart about what he feels now, he's on this soul journey. Did y'all realize that she was on her phone? She was on. She was on her phone.
All right.
Texting or looking at something. I don't know, but that conversation at that moment was not a priority.
Yeah.
Okay. Take a note of that. That's one.
That's one thing.
Also, two, I noticed that he compared his. Why are you reading my notes? Let me. You don't hear it the same time everybody else hear it.
I'm just looking, man.
He compared his woman or wife to other women that he didn't even know. As you recall what he said that whenever they were dating or I guess beginning of their marriage or whatever, he would see them other women dressing a certain way.
Yeah.
And so he wanted his woman to look like other women.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 3. And she was telling him basically it's his fault because that's what he liked initially.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what attracted him to her. Mm-hmm. So why change?
Yeah.
And then my last one note is they're not on the same journey. Mm-hmm. And it appears to be not planning on being on that same journey with him because her looks are a moneymaker for her.
Yeah. And
so they are on different paths when it comes to that.
So when you think about this is really, 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 really an interesting dynamic when it comes to couples who may have different journeys or different point of views, and you could be married in this particular you could be married and together. However, because of your different journeys that you're on, now you find yourself separating because why? Because there are different values, there are different
you evolve.
Foundations, evolution.
Right.
We change, we grow. We may, and especially from a spiritual standpoint, as what he's saying, he has a spiritual awakening, which has caused him to really realize that some of the things that he was doing prior were not good. And then also from the standpoint of him being a husband and having a wife, there is a certain standard that he wants his wife to be, from a provocative standpoint, he doesn't want his wife to be provocative, even though that might have been how they met.
Right. And so, and some people say, I've heard some people say, when that occurs, sometimes a person falls out of love with them because they're growing separately. They are maturing separately. What do you think about that?
The maturity level that happens in a relationship, people grow and people have different maturation processes. So one person may be up here and another person may be gradually getting there, or you could be growing together, or depend on, I don't know how often they're together or how much time they spend together, but the times that they spend together, now we ask ourselves the question, what are they doing in their time together? And is this conducive for them growing together, or is it just they're coexisting, but they also have two distinct lifestyles, and one may be on one side of the country, the other may be on another side of the country, and they don't really get an opportunity to see each other. So, and then that can be a major sever to the bond that they have.
And sometimes too, with just normal folks like us, normal couples, you could be living in the same house.
Yeah.
And you are growing apart.
Yeah.
And so let me tell you, growing up, I always heard of just the fairy tales of marriage.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, they're your, bright and shining armor.
Yeah.
And, you found love, and now
knight in shining armor.
What I say?
You said bright and shining armor.
I told y'all I'm sick. I'm not.
But yeah, knight in shining armor.
Knight in shining armor. Mm-hmm. They're you get butterflies every time you see them.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
But then when you mature and you realize, love is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Love is a choice.
Yeah.
And it's a choice that you make every single day.
Yeah.
Whenever you're in a relationship. Yeah. And I saw this post. Can you get their picture off of there? And I saw this this post called Choices.
Okay.
It's on there. Read what it says.
All right. Remember this. You are free to choose, but you are not free from the consequences of your choice.
And so, when you can choose who you marry.
Yeah.
God gives us that. Yeah. That we have free will. Now, a lot of us, some of us marry ourselves and God's not in it.
Yeah.
And others, God is in it, and it's still hard.
Yeah.
And so you have to make that choice.
I'm gonna even come from a different perspective. I think God gives us the freedom to choose whoever we marry, and He blesses that choice. But then at the same time, when He blesses that choice, we have to work through the process of making it the best that it could possibly be. So that means that our mind, or whatever we've learned or processed over the years, that I believe that is what continues to evolve the relationship. That's what even continues to evolve us individually. And then also too, by us growing in that maturation process and the enlightenment and the revelation that we get through the course of our experience and even through the course of our relationship, that's actually what helps us to get to that point of coming to an awakening place or coming to a reckoning point and making a decision. Some of the things that I did in the past, or some of the ways that I thought back then, I don't think those ways anymore, because I have been enlightened. I have been awakened. I've been informed about some of the errors of my ways, and now I want to grow into the new knowledge that I've gained.
That's good. That's good. And like I always say this. You've heard me say it before. Like when my husband married me, he married 3 different type of women.
Yeah.
It's the one that he married back 15 years ago, the one that I am today, and then the one that I will be in the future.
Yeah.
You go through changes, you evolve, and so marriage is a process. But I don't want to get. Let's go into the first questions because then we can continue.
So we're going to have the first question, and if you are viewing, please share, and then also comment. Share your thoughts and your opinions as it relates to these questions that we're going to pose to you. All right.
So we ask a question, and then we give you a few seconds. Think of your answer, and then type it in.
All right. So here's the question.
Question number 1.
What's the purpose of marriage?
Yeah, let's start with that. What's the purpose of marriage? Let's see. I'm seeing if we got any comments so far. Okay.
Yeah. So what's the purpose? What's the purpose of marriage? All right. So if anyone wants to comment, they can comment, but we'll share our point of view even as we go ahead.
Well, let's you can cut that off. Okay, so the question is, what's the purpose of marriage? And y'all can type in your comments. But there are many different views. I don't want to give our view initially. I have heard folks say that sometimes marriage is just some people say it's just on a piece of paper. It's just legally. You're getting the benefits legally. Health insurance. You're helping with the bills, and a lot of people feel that.
Yeah.
I've heard others say that when you marry, you don't marry for love. You just marry for security.
Yeah.
You're trying to secure your future. To make sure. That you are financially secure, are safe, you can grow a family.
Yeah.
So with all that said, what is the purpose of marriage?
Some people may say, well, it's just a contract. It's just an agreement.
It's just a contract.
It's
it don't
just,
mean nothing. We've been together.
We've been together for many years, and at this particular point, we've grown close to each other, and we're familiar with each other, and we're comfortable with each other. So we might as well go ahead and get married, or we might as well go ahead and make it legal. And I think all of those different things that when it relates to a marriage, it could be a contract, it could be an agreement, it could be you being comfortable with each other. These are opinions of society. So what do you think a marriage is? What's your definition of a marriage?
Y'all, if y'all tune in every week, y'all know I do not like when I have to always answer the questions first. Do y'all see this? Are y'all seeing a pattern? It's a pattern, or I always have to answer the questions first. See, he like me to start first, so then he can just finish it, go in for the kill.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start first. It's not a big deal, I just always try to make sure that ladies go first. That's all.
Okay,
I'm just trying to be chivalrous.
And chivalry is not dead. Okay. The purpose of marriage, I think every marriage should have its own internal goal and purpose, or what y'all are working for. Every marriage has its own fingerprint. Okay? So no one is going to tell you exactly what your marriage should be doing. Okay? But the overall goal, I feel, of marriage, since we are believers of Christ, is to together uplift and build the kingdom of God if we do it together, we're more of a force.
Yeah,
so we
have
should
more
be
of an impact.
We have more of an impact. We should be making an impact, and they should see the fingerprint of the Hardmans is kingdom building, and we are helping. Now, I believe part of that is like our marriage, with helping couples in relationships.
Yeah.
And then also too, we're building a legacy and helping our family. But then also we're trying to build things to help, we have some things in the fire to help with, not only spreading kingdom-minded business when it comes to marriage, but kingdom-minded business when it comes to finances. When it comes to developing yourself, when it comes to, so you have a purpose, and your purpose together is to reach as many people as you can. That's my answer.
That's your answer?
That's my answer. I'm sticking to it.
You're just sticking to it.
All
right. So I agree with everything that you say as it relates to marriage. But I always take it back biblical, and in the responsibility of being a pastor in a sense, and knowing the aspect of what marriage, the origin of marriage, or where it came from God. So in that particular narrative, he said, he saw Adam and he said, it's not good for man to be alone. So I am going to create a suitable helper for him to accomplish the mission that he has had. So in that, I believe marriage comes from God. The origin of marriages comes from the Creator, because God knows that we are relational beings and we need company, and we need to be with other people and in a relationship. But not only is that relationship from a platonic relationship where you could be friends, but I believe God also knew that there are confines and constructs that he created and boundaries that he created where there was a level of intimacy and eroticism that came from a husband and a wife that you cannot get in another relationship.
Yeah.
And so, there's good. Also a way that he wanted it to be to where we could be fruitful and multiply and have children and create a legacy for ourselves from that standpoint. So, I think marriage, if I were to give it a definition, marriage is the construct that God has created for a man and a woman to come together to create a bond, a relationship, a friendship, that we leave our families and we create our own establishment for ourselves. But then it also gives us an opportunity to grow to raise children and to build a legacy for many, many, many generations to come. So that's what I think a marriage is.
That was good.
All right.
Y'all like that? Heart or check marks or whatever. If you agree with that, if if that helped you, because we wanted to start with, okay, well, what's the purpose of marriage? We're talking about marriage, but separate. So we need to start with, well, what's the purpose of marriage?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's our take on it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go to question number two. All right. Okay. So let's look at question number 2.
Okay. I'll read this one. What time is it? 2. Okay. Question number 2. All right. Can't couples still live a fulfilled life together and have separate paths in life? Can't couples still live a fulfilled life together and have separate paths in life?
So, can't couples still live a fulfilled life together and have separate paths in life? So, do you want me to go first?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to go first on this one. All right. I think what happens when couples come together through the covenant of marriage, you have your own identity. You have your own path that you are taking. And I think in that, you begin to grow. And when you initially start this thing off called marriage, you know you've had your own history, your own upbringing, your own experiences that you actually bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And when you bring that to the table, yes, you bring all of that history to the table. And then I would think you should be able to try to mesh that together to be able to create your own identity for the marriage. However, I think you can come together in marriage and know that your marriage is solid and on a firm foundation, and still have opportunities where you two are pursuing different things. Now, here's the thing. That could equate to a career path. It could. The more I grow and the more I understand, the financial path should be more cohesive. And I'm learning that more and more, because when it is separate, or if it's more separate than equal, you have more distractions that you can grab your attention. I'm not saying that you need to have all of your money in one pot. However, I think when you're trying to accomplish goals and you really want to see those goals come to fruition and manifestation, then I think from a financial standpoint, it makes it so much better that your money is together.
Well, you come together and you make decisions together. Right?
Yeah.
So what is, okay, let's break this question down. What is true fulfillment?
All right.
Like for fulfillment, because that was in the question. What does it mean to truly be fulfilled?
Yeah.
Like, what was the question? Can't you have a fulfilled marriage?
But still live separate, have separate journeys or separate paths?
What is being fulfilled? Because obviously, let's go back to Kim and Kanye. Okay, it appears that they're fulfilled because they both are celebrities. They have money.
Successful in the world's eye.
Successful in the world's eye. They have children. They're building businesses, but he's still searching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is still searching. And one might say that she's still searching.
Yeah.
You know, because some things that she does is kind of risque, but you know, one might say she's still searching with her trying to reinvent herself and things like that. So what is true fulfillment?
I think true fulfillment and true fulfillment is where you cannot find fulfillment apart from your purpose. Your purpose has to be tied to a level of fulfillment, because that's where you find your passion, your conviction. That's where you're able to do something that really is tied to your gifts, your talents, your abilities. But it also culminates everything from a spiritual standpoint, because you know who you're, ultimately connected to. I think true fulfillment, people find fulfillment in different things, right. But the true fulfillment really that I feel like that we all have or in search for or in yearning for is a fulfillment and a connection to a higher power. And that higher power gives us, from my standpoint, and I think from both of our standpoint, the higher power gives you that sense of identity and connection and belonging and purpose and what you were created for is all tied up into that, so that when you really get on that path of really knowing who you are, knowing why you were gifted the way you were gifted, know why your brain is wired the way it's wired, know why your personality is the way it is, all of these things begin to coincide
and they come together
and culminate, converge on what God, I believe, has made your purpose and your passion to be.
And it finally, that makes a lot of sense, and it finally makes sense.
Yeah.
You have that aha moment.
Yeah, it comes together.
Because y'all, when you're missing something, when you're unfulfilled, something's not right.
Yeah.
He said all the right words. I'm just trying to kind of bring it down to a relatable level. I mean, he did.
Yeah.
But when you have that aha moment and you finally get it.
Yeah.
You finally get it. Like I know, I'm using one of your brothers as an example. He is about to retire soon, right? He's on the verge of retiring from law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually is a farmer.
Yes.
Law enforcement, farming. Like you just
you wouldn't even see any correlation
to that. Mm-hmm. But for years, every time we go back to his place, he always has all these
peas and cabbage and squash and
all of
tomatoes
that my grandmother, my 96-year-old grandmama, always gets from him and looks forward to it. And you can tell when he's talking about farming,
he lights up.
Yeah, he just lights, and he just, and it makes me, and I don't know, I don't like bugs.
Yeah.
I don't do that farming stuff. I don't like the outdoor. I mean, I used to run track when I was younger, but after college, I have not been out there, right? So I don't do outside. I don't do bugs. I don't do all that stuff like that. But the way he discusses it makes you interested, makes you just want to sit out there. And so he has found his niche. He's found his aha, and who knows, y'all might be seeing him in a local grocery store, might have some of his produce and stuff like that. But it's like you work on it over a while, over a certain period of time, and then bam, it hits you.
And it's almost like it's something that you do without you even thinking about it. It becomes, it is so innately attached to your DNA, your nature, your attributes, that you do it automatically, and it's not even work. It's like tied to your passion and tied to your attributes. Your character is a part of that.
So then, if that's the case, to answer that question,
let's get back.
How can one that's on that path? We just talked about it. You have your aha moment.
Yeah,
you are fulfilled, but your partner
may have a totally different.
Is not supportive. Is not supportive. Does not understand. Mm-hmm. What do you do? Yeah. Y'all can comment. I know y'all listening. Yeah. We see people joining in on the watch party and stuff like that. Or because the question is, can you have a successful marriage? Or, some people think you can because we, quote, see it. But is it really successful and fulfilling if only one of you all is to that point, but the other one isn't supporting?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I think by having two people who may have different bendings towards their passion and their purpose, I think it is incumbent of each spouse that is seeing their spouse experience an awakening or an enlightening moment to be supportive. Because if they are supportive, it makes that journey a whole lot easier. But if I'm fighting you in the process of, finding myself, somebody's going to lose.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Somebody will lose. So let me tell you this. Another way, when we showed you that clip with Kanye, Kim should have been off of the phone while he was talking. And then too, that's embarrassing too. You had other people in there watching that. But let's just say someone is on the spiritual path and you're not. One way of being supportive is going to a church service with them, or going to a spiritual event with them. Yeah. Not necessarily, you gotta you all in. Yeah. But it shows that you care for them. Like, love is a choice. Yeah. So you want to see your spouse win. Mm-hmm. So even if it's them starting a business, or them having a new hobby, and the hobby might turn into a business. Yeah. Not complaining. Mm-hmm. Not fighting them on it. Yeah. Because they have to be comforted whenever they're at home. Yeah. Yeah. The worst thing you could do is fight out in the world, trying to grind, trying to create a life for yourself, a career, or whatever you're trying to do for yourself. And then you come back home and you got to fight when you get back home too. Yeah. That is going to be one of the hardest things that you could try to overcome. Is I'm already tired from going out and doing what I need to do on the grind to create a life for ourselves. And then if I got to come home and fight from that standpoint, it's not an environment that is conducive for fulfillment, for life, for unity, for togetherness, and for even evolution and growth and maturation. I think with relationships, we all have ways in which we grow. We all have ways in which we mature, and everybody don't mature at the same level. We understand that we're individuals in that standpoint. But then from a marital standpoint, I think too, the husband and the wife really have to be sensitive to the changes that are taking place in their spouse's life, and they really have to be engaged in this process. And I think a lot of marriages end up in divorces because they were more so worried about themselves in this process. They're not thinking about their spouse, and vice versa. I think it's, I think one of the things that was told to us when we first got married was that marriage is a humility test. And it was very, when I heard that statement, I really thought about it. Marriage is a humility test. Marriage means that it will break you down, honey. It breaks you down, but then also it brings you it builds you up. But then from your point of relational connection, you should be thinking more about your spouse than yourself, in a sense. Now, from a spiritual growth standpoint, of course, you need to think about your spirituality. And I think we all grow at our own place. And from our harmonized perspective, I think, in relationships, we all are growing. But then at the same time, we all must look at our spouse to see what's going on with them. How are they even perceiving the journey that I'm on? You should be sensitive and engaged. That's what you mean. Because you said you should be thinking about them more. Clarify that.
Well, I'll say this. In your journey of finding who you are, you don't want to leave your spouse behind.
That's right. You're thinking at them at the same
so you're time. Thinking about them, because nothing you do from that point forward, when you say I do, is individualistic.
That's good.
Because it's never individualistic, because the scripture, and we come from a biblical background, the scripture says a man shall leave his mother and father and shall cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So two becomes one. Two individuals, two families, two histories, two upbringings now are becoming one. And so with that, you are really, really engaging in this process of meshing your lives together, really gelling yourselves to another person. Your family becomes their family.
Right. So it shouldn't be marriage, but separate.
Yeah, it should not be marriage, but separate.
And the thing is, the Bible does say you should be equally yoked. But we know all marriages does not start out like that. And all marriages are in the middle are still not like that.
Still evolving.
They're still evolving. But I like what you said, babe. You said you should not make a move or think of paths without your spouse because you are one. It's impossible to. Yeah. So it might look, for this question, it might look like, you can live a fulfilled life or be on separate paths, but you should never be on separate paths. No. You can have different ideas and opinions, but you all should be pulling each other along on that same path. On that
same path.
On that same path.
Because really, true marriage, and when I think about marriage, I don't think about anything I do without considering her thoughts or her feelings and her opinions. Yeah. And how that directly affects my family and my daughters. I think about all of the decisions that I'm making, and then also too, what we were talking about from previous episodes about, sometimes people feeling underappreciated because they feel like they've sacrificed in a relationship, but the other person didn't sacrifice or didn't really thank them or appreciate them for the sacrifices that they made to, help continue that person continue to pursue their dreams. And then so they become selfish and say, well, if I was giving of myself, and you didn't even acknowledge the sacrifice I made to help you get yours. Then I'm gonna just go and do what I want to do, and that becomes a major chasm between where you should be trying to go together. And then some people say that marriages or relationships are seasonal. I do believe relationships are seasonal, but I don't believe marriage is seasonal.
Marriage isn't seasonal.
Marriage should weather seasons. It should go through the different seasons that you have in your life. Mm-hmm. So if it's a winter moment, your marriage should be able to weather that winter storm.
And know that spring and summer
summer, all of that is still around the corner. So I believe relationships are seasonal, but marriage is something that that's why it says what God has put together, let no man put asunder. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder, or tear apart. Because that means that if He's joined it. And then, too, you can look at this from this standpoint. Some relationships were joined themselves. Now, go back to what I said earlier. I think God honors the decision we make because He makes us free will beings. Free will. We are a free will creation. Humanity has been made where we make choices ourselves. And those choices that we make, like was said, gives consequences, so we have to live with those consequences. However, even in those consequences, we still have to understand that we are together in this.
Right.
We are together in this. So if my wife is dealing with growth and evolution from a certain standpoint, I need to be sensitive and I need to be attentive and alert and aware of what's going on and ask questions on how you're feeling in this journey.
Because it can be a change that can easily get you off path. Could be death of a loved one, death of a parent, death of a sibling, death of a child. It could be sickness. It could be aging parents. Yeah. It could be loss of a job. Those are life changes that can really get you off path. Yeah. So you have to really be so committed and ask God to enlighten you every day and give you the strength. So to make your relationship stronger, to focus and go towards that goal instead of giving off. It could be, wayward children. It could be a blended family. Yeah, there are so many. The ex-wife, side chick.
All of that.
It could be a lot.
But and I think all of that stems from selfishness. Mm-hmm. all of those other things that come and become a wedge in between a relationship are sprung out of a selfish mentality. And if you are becoming selfish to the point of where you can allow other agents to come in and contaminate your relationship, then you actually open the door for that to happen when you start thinking about yourself and no one else. It's That's about true. Me. It's about my pleasure. It's about what I think. And it's not about the other person or the person that you're supposed to be in a covenant relationship with. So this process is a process of growing, but it should be a process of growing together. It should not be a process of, she do her thing, I do my thing. We come together, we have relations, we cuddle for a little moment, and then we back off to doing our own thing. No, I think marriage is a bond that happens and it grows over time, and we had just saw something. I sent my wife a text message today, and the text message was of a couple, a married couple who had been married 82 years. The husband was 103 and the wife was 100. Yeah. And they had been married for 82 years, and they just simply said, our marriage has lasted this long because we just be nice to each other.
Mm-hmm. They say we talk it out.
Talk things through. You gotta know what you're getting into. That's what the Bible said. But anyway, she was saying that from the standpoint of there must be a level of communication.
Right.
And the communication through the turns, communication through the transitions of your relationship, communication through your maturity or maturation process, communication through your enlightenment and information coming to you. All of those things, there must be communication and trust through them. All right.
So let's. We have a comment. Can you read it?
It says, "I think it should somehow intertwine." So So it should be. There should be It should be interwoven in together. The fabric should be meshed.
Your paths, your goals, what you want to accomplish as a family. It should not be separate.
Yeah.
You should. There is. When I think of doing things, I don't think of I just don't think of it just by myself. I'm always thinking about how does this affect my husband, how does this affect the family. So we want to just take a little quick break. We want to show y'all a flyer. We want to tell y'all something.
All right.
We want to thank all of you all.
Yeah.
Well, we have one more question after this, but we just wanted to put this in real quick before we forget it. But we want to thank all of you all that have purchased those tickets for the holiday couple celebration. If you purchase tickets, you should have received, he's going to put the flyer up. You should have received your entree selections. And so if you have not, inbox us, but you should have received a link for you to select your entree options. Okay, it's December the 14th. Tickets are going fast. They're still available. You can go to eventbrite.com and just search Ourbondlive and purchase your tickets. Now, another thing too, we'll tell you something. We have live entertainment going on. So we already spilled that there's a red carpet and you get a professional photo taken of you and it's a couple for married, dating, engaged couples, right? But part of the live entertainment is
a comedy show.
A comedy show.
Yeah.
We have other things too, but we just wanted to spill that too. Yeah. We have a lot of things.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of laughter, just joy in being together. And then enjoying your spouse, having an opportunity to just chill with your spouse and enjoy your spouse or your significant other.
Yes. Dress up nice.
Be there with your friend and y'all can just fellowship amongst other couples who I think that also fosters an environment for more and more couples to grow together. So, this is a good thing.
Yeah. So, reach out to us if you have any questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions.
Or Ourbondlive, we have information on it too to get your tickets, but you can go to eventbrite.com.
Yeah. and purchase your tickets.
And search for Ourbondlive.
Ourbondlive. All right.
Okay,
So we're going to go to question number 3 before we get out of here. All right. How long should a spouse wait until they become one with their spouse's beliefs?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Read again.
So let's look at that. How long should a spouse wait until they become one with their spouse's beliefs? Wow. Yeah. So, all right. How long should someone wait? Should a spouse wait until they become one with their spouse's belief? You want to answer, or are you?
Well, let me just I've seen examples of this. I've seen like the old school approach of I've seen the wife enduring things for many years, and then the husband finally gets right, either one because they're tired, and then they realize, hey, she's stuck with me this long, and so I'm getting older. She's the only one that'll take care of me. Or two, they could have found Christ.
Yeah.
Christ
found them.
Christ found them. I've seen husbands stay, and just stay because of the children, because their goal was, hey, I've seen them stay. Let's get them out the house. Let's get them, graduated out of college, and then they go their separate ways.
Yeah. So
I've seen different examples of, they might call it weathering the storm. I've seen different examples of that.
Yeah.
But I do know that God is still in the restoration business of marriage.
Of marriage. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
He can restore anything.
Yeah.
It's just, are you willing? Both of you, just can't be one. But are you both willing, and with his help, to fix it?
Yeah. And I say this, marriage is not for wimps. Marriage is not for the faint of heart.
It isn't.
But I say also to trust the process that you're on. And when I say that if you are in a relationship where you got married and it seems like things are on rocky roads, and it seems like, oh man, I don't know how we're gonna make it through this. I'm tired of just dealing with the foolishness, and we're having tiffs and fights, and we just don't seem like we're on the same page with anything. We don't have the same values, anything like that. There's an opportunity for a miracle to take place if you allow it to happen. And this is where, from our standpoint, now we know we're Christians, my wife and I are Christians, from our standpoint, where you really have to trust God in this process. Because you don't always know how things are working out. You don't always know the end, but what you do know is there is someone who knows why we got together. Mm-hmm. And even when you begin to forget, why did you get together? God is always the author of marriage, and he always gives that level of clarity. But it may take some time. It may take some soul searching. And you know what? Instead of looking at your spouse, most of the time God is going to point you to you. Mm-hmm. So that you can look at yourself and look at ways that you can grow and improve. And I believe God uses marriages for it's almost like a self-improvement, to the point of where he uses marriages to conform, to mold, to break some old habits, curses, all of those things. Yes. And he puts it together so that ultimately the marriage can be blessed. And it's so interesting. I've said this before, and even in studying on marriages, God created marriage before he created any other institution. The family was the first institution that God created. And it's a reason why God created it, because all of the other things flow out of family.
And I love that. That's just so eloquent. That was just right on point. I love how you said to just wait and trust, because when you notice that, you know, any storm you come out of, any transition or any major change, there's always a testimony. There's always a learning lesson out of it. Could it be that when you do evolve and grow into marriage, you know, growing in marriages, he's using you, to break the curses, to grow, evolve, and stuff like that. But could it be also to help others?
Yeah.
That are going through it, so you can spread, hey, this is what God can do. This is what he can do in your marriage. Yeah. You know, this it's like you said, it's not for the weak. But it's not for you to just think that you're alone too. Yeah. Yeah. This thing, that's why we love marriage so much. That's why we love talking about it. That's why we love talking about relationships. You are not alone. No. You are not alone. Marriage is not perfect. Don't let anybody tell you. Even, I know Instagram and Facebook make it look, everything's make it look like perfect. You got to have the perfect lighting, perfect pose, all of that stuff. Your hair got to be, and all that stuff like that.
But that's not the case.
It is not the case. And so, you know, that's another thing why we have our monthly marriage sessions too. And that's why we like doing this every week. Yeah. To where you can really get to the real of your marriage. The crux of it, and grow from it and learn, and then help others and do big and great things. Yeah.
So, it's 8:00.
Oh, it is?
And
did you tell us it was 8:00?
And this was awesome.
Oh.
This was awesome. Let's just, we're gonna close, but when we close, we want each couple or each person that may be viewing to really think about, if you are in a relationship right now, where are you in a relationship? Are you at the beginning stages of where you've just come together and you're still learning each other? Or you've learned each other and you know that there's some growth and development that needs to take place, and maybe one spouse may be more enlightened, or I won't even say more enlightened, but have come to a place of where they're figuring out themselves, where they are, and then also think about your spouse in that process, or your significant other as you're going through this maturation or informational enlightenment. And then thirdly, consider everything that you're feeling. Think about what they may be feeling in the process too.
That's good. Think about them.
Think about them as you're going through this journey of enlightenment and revelation and growth. And know that if you want this thing to last, you got to make sure that y'all grow together. And hopefully, you know, that growth will be a voluntary growth. Even, I won't even say voluntary, but you would take the initiative to help bring your spouse along in that journey with you.
So y'all can be equally
yoked. Yeah.
Married, but not separate.
This is
an awesome discussion. It was kind of heavy tonight, but we are praying that we at least gave you some wisdom nuggets to help you in your life. Yeah. And you can just share this video. You know, you can comment. You know, let it sink in. Yeah. But we love each and every one of you, and thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
We will be here again next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Until next time.
Until next time. Peace.